In this video, we're going to talk about the Mediterranean Sea. Now, this incredible body of water is so much more than just a pretty place to go on vacation. It's a true cradle of civilization, a treasure trove of biodiversity, and it's this vital crossroads that connects three entire continents. It is a sea absolutely packed with history and global importance, and we're about to find out just what makes it so special. You know, for thousands of years, these very waters have been the absolute heart of Western and Middle Eastern cultures. Just think about it. From the ancient Greeks and Romans to the Phoenicians, this sea was basically the superhighway for everything, for trade, for new ideas, and for the rise and fall of massive empires. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll pinpoint its unique geography. Then, we're going to dive into the data, its size, its depth, the nitty-gritty. After that, we'll explore the amazing marine life living there, but we'll also have to confront the serious challenges it's facing. And we'll finish up with some really cool facts you probably don't know. Alright, first up, let's get our bearings. Where in the world is this sea? Because really, its location is what makes it so incredibly important throughout history. The geography here is just fascinating because it's so interconnected. It's almost completely surrounded by land, touching Europe in the north, Africa in the south, and Asia in the east. We're talking 22 different countries along its shores. Its main gateway to the big Atlantic Ocean is the super narrow Strait of Gibraltar. It's only 14 kilometers wide right there. But it also connects to the Red Sea through the man-made Suez Canal and the Black Sea through the Bosphorus. It really is a true global crossroads. Now let's geek out a little bit with the numbers. Just how big and how deep is the Mediterranean really? The scale is, well, it's pretty impressive. Okay, get this. The surface area is a massive 2.5 million square kilometers. Now, that's only about 0.7% of the entire world's ocean surface, but don't let that fool you. That's a gigantic body of water packed into this semi-enclosed space. And it's not just wide, oh no, it is incredibly deep. While the average depth is around 1,500 meters, its deepest point, the Calypso Deep in the Ionian Sea, plunges down over 5,200 meters. Can you even imagine that? That's more than 5 kilometers straight down. So when you take all that area and all that depth, what do you get? An unbelievable amount of water. We are talking about a total volume of nearly 3.8 million cubic kilometers. The number is just staggering. Of course, another huge feature is the water temperature. It's generally pretty mild, It ranges from a cool 10 degrees Celsius in the winter to a beautifully warm 28 degrees in the summer. This perfect climate is, you guessed it, a huge reason why it's the world's #1 tourist hotspot. So where does all this water come from, besides the ocean? Well, the Mediterranean gets a constant supply of fresh water from several major rivers. From Europe, you've got famous ones like the Rhone in France and the Po in Italy. And from Africa, the most legendary one is, of course, the Nile. These rivers are like the sea's lifeblood, carrying essential water and sediment that feed the whole ecosystem. Okay, let's go below the surface, because for a sea of its size, the Mediterranean is absolutely bursting with life, and believe me, it's called a major biodiversity hotspot for a very good reason. We're talking about an estimated 17,000 marine species living here. This includes these magnificent creatures like fin whales and dolphins, the critically endangered Mediterranean monk seal, a few types of sea turtles, and even some deep water sharks. These clear blue waters support a truly mind-boggling variety of life. But we have to talk about something serious now. This incredible sea is in big trouble. We can't talk about the Mediterranean without talking about the immense pressure it's under, from us, from human activity, especially the crisis of plastic pollution. Just listen to this quote from the World Wildlife Fund. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. It says, "Plastics account for 95% of the waste in the open sea, on the seabed, and on beaches across the Mediterranean." Let that sink in for a second. 95%. Almost all the trash you see is plastic. It's an overwhelming problem. And this is what that looks like. This isn't a landfill. That's the bottom of the sea. This debris just suffocates marine habitats. It damages these delicate ecosystems like seagrass meadows, and it's a direct threat to all the animals that call this place home. And here's the really scary part. This problem isn't going away by itself. Plastic isn't biodegradable. It doesn't really break down. A single plastic bag can stick around for 20 years. A plastic cup? 50 years. And a single piece of fishing line can last for an unbelievable 600 years, just sitting there, harming the environment. And all that plastic has a direct and often deadly impact on wildlife. At least 134 different species in the Med are known to eat plastic. We're talking 60 species of fish, all 3 native sea turtle species, 9 species of seabirds, and 5 species of marine mammals. They mistake it for food, and the result is often fatal. Okay, after that heavy topic, let's shift gears a bit. To wrap things up, I've got 5 fascinating facts for you that really showcase this sea's amazing history and character. First off, its name literally means middle of the earth in Latin, because for all those ancient civilizations, it was the center of their entire world. Next up, the sea as we know it today was formed by this insane cataclysmic event called the Zanclean Flood about 5.3 million years ago. Basically, the Atlantic Ocean just violently burst through the Strait of Gibraltar and filled the basin. Here's a cool one. The Romans had a nickname for it, Mare Nostrum, which means our sea. It's also an island hopper's paradise, with over 3,300 islands and little islets. And finally, it is still the undisputed king of tourism, pulling in a third of all international tourists worldwide. So, what's the takeaway here? Well, it's a place of breathtaking beauty and incredible history, but it's also facing some immense challenges. And that really brings us to our final thought. For thousands of years, this sea has given us culture, trade, and life itself. So the question we all have to ask ourselves now is, what are we willing to do to protect it, to make sure it can keep being a source of life for thousands of years more? Alright, that is it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.